What's
Boy,
going
was that
on?
cool. My gosh.
Hey, how about that, huh?
DMac's got intro videos now?
How about that?
Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 with intro videos.
Training camp recap. And we thank our great friends at Ramos Law. Information will be scrolling down below, but Ramos Law, medical doctor and attorney. Been in an accident, contact ramoslaw.com. They're the ones to go to. Okay, Coach, here we go. Day, I don't know, what do you want to call it? You want to call it day one? You want to call it day three? What do you want to call it out there?
Let's just call it day that football is officially back and fans were there. And the media was all there, and all the muggles were hanging around, and it was a whole lot of fun, man. That's all I know is I got to do a live sports talk radio show with the Denver Broncos driving the football offensively and the defense about 15, 20 yards in front of our tent, our little booth that we had there for 92.5.
Well, let's go through some basics. In general, defense is ahead of offense. Did we see that today?
I thought it was good back and forth today. I would say that there was probably a little bit more offensive success today than what I'd heard from the first 2 days, where I heard the defense is clearly ahead. There's some third down emphasis where you were working third down installation. That means they're a little bit further ahead than day one. Typically, your first and second down calls go in on days 1 and days 2 of your training camp. So today being day 3, it makes sense that you get into some third down. And so I thought the offense was good. Jarrett Stidham had a nice day. He's a good backup. He's a really solid NFL backup quarterback. I think Sam Ehlinger, I like the addition. Good mobility, threw the ball down the field pretty well. But I think there were a couple storylines for me as it relates to the offense. And number one, the Mike McGlinchey absence, which we know now, Sean Payton said he will be back either tomorrow or Monday. And it's not a big deal. So it might be could be a family thing, could be a pregnancy thing. Who knows, right? Like he's just had a baby. I think Tripp, his son, is about a year and a half old or a year old now, but he might be baby 2 on the way. You never know.
Okay.
But I don't know that to be sure. But you just know it didn't seem like Michael McGlinchey was hanging out at training camp banged up and injured on the sideline. We didn't see Mike McGlinchey. So my guess is it's something that he'll be fine and his body's all right. But what I liked with the offense today, I like the rotation at wide receiver. And the big winner of the day, and I told you this on the radio earlier today, was I thought Troy Franklin appears to be in the plans for the Denver Broncos to be utilizing him on all downs and in all situations. And I think that's good. Because he's got good top-end speed, and if they can develop his intermediate pass catching and route running abilities, then it opens up the entirety of the field for the over-the-top down the field pass game. So I saw Troy Franklin, now wearing jersey number 11, make a ton of catches that were just routine, deep. It was a base out route, a comeback route, a dig route. And then he did make a downfield deep crosser touchdown throw from Jarrett Stidham as well. So I thought Troy Franklin was really good today.
Well, I love to hear that because last year at this time, all we were hearing about Troy Franklin is the coaches yelling at him. And he was being yelled at in the spring. He yelled at a mini camp, yelled at a training camp. So didn't see that, didn't hear that, I guess, today, and saw him play well. That's good. Really
Maybe
good.
All Troy Franklin needed, DMac, was for that jerk of a pass game coordinator, John Morton, to get hired by the knee biter himself, Dan Campbell, as his new offensive coordinator. And now he's got some breathing room and can go out and play football and not have some jerk breathing down his dang neck. So
are you saying that because you're friends with him or because you really feel like he was a jerk?
No, I know Johnny Mo.
Okay.
So Johnny Mo was the guy that was absolutely undressing Troy Franklin. And, I bet Troy Franklin now is probably thanking him for that. Okay. Just to have the practice habits and the skills. Being out there today, Darren.
Yeah.
The theme of this team, and I had a chance to ask a question of Evan Ingram. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to that. It was one of the last questions asked in the scrum. But I asked Evan Ingram about what separates and even how can you define the culture the locker room of this particular team versus 8 years worth. And it was really cool to hear his response. First off, I got long pause, and that's a good question. So I'm an improved media member from a year ago. My first question I asked a year ago.
I think I could. I have a couple of other things from Evan Engram, but I didn't have that. But I know exactly what you're talking about. Let me see if I can't do something kind of cool on the fly.
Yeah,
and I can figure that out.
And I'll let you go. I'll let you kind of figure that out as I go. But the theme is maturity, professionalism. This is a serious football team. Mm-hmm. This is a football team that shows up to work and competes, and it looks crisp, and there's tempo, and there's veterans, but there's youth. There's enough youth and enough veteran presence that you have a team that looks fresh, healthy, explosive, but also looks like it is about that business.
All right. And if I am a miracle worker, I might have got this. We'll see. It might be, and this is a little janky, but let's see if I can do it.
This Broncos team in that locker room. Great question. That's probably my favorite thing about being a Bronco right now. Just the way that this team connects, the way they push each other, the way they challenge each other, the way that we bonded, just the standard that we have for ourselves. The camaraderie we have, the laughs that we have, it's an incredible locker room. A lot of great leaders. I tell people in my family, it's hard to be the first one in the building. I'm used to being the first one in Jacksonville. I was always the first one. It was really easy. And here it's kind of tough. There's a lot of guys, doing it at the highest level. It's just a contagious environment, and we all want to get better, and we all have high standards that we all want to achieve together.
That's all right. In Jacksonville, it was easy.
Isn't that wild?
That is a riot to hear a guy say that. In Jacksonville, it was easy. It's like Michael Porter Jr. Oh, hey, you guys got 2 courts here in Brooklyn. I get it. We get the shot right there. But that is a riot. In Jacksonville, it was easy to be the first guy in the building. Wow. Wow, man. That's a culture issue right there. That's an effort and attitude issue in the pros. Goodness. Wow. Okay.
But it's interesting because as I sat there and watched Jonathan Cooper get interviewed, very serious. Doorknob. Total, but a total professional, man.
That's true. He's a good guy and all. He's just not that exciting of an interview.
Yeah, he's not. But I think that's who he is. I think he's serious about his craft. I think he's serious about his work. Even like you watch him come off the stage and dap it up with guys like that guy's a pro, man. And that's a really cool thing when you can look at a majority of your roster and say that guy's a pro. Mm-hmm. And you know where I think that this team is starting to take on its personality of?
What's that?
Not just the head coach. I think this team's taking on the personality of its franchise quarterback.
Well, I have Evan Engram talking about Bo Nix right here.
And the way he goes about his business.
Attention to detail. His focus, his drive to get 1% better every day. His camaraderie with his teammates. He's not afraid to speak up. He's not afraid to challenge you. And he challenges himself at the highest level. So that gives him ground to challenge others. So I'm very impressed with him. Very, very blessed to be, a part of his team and be his teammate. And the sky's the limit with that type of mentality. The way he works, the talent will take care of itself.
There you go.
Yep. And the personality of Bo Nix is extremely focused. You heard Evan Engram say it. Mm-hmm. There's a commitment on a daily basis to just get 1% better. And I think that's what Bo Nix's entire offseason was all about. Mm-hmm. Was about just that marginal improvement, living in those margins where you can find whatever it is that can be a little bit improved from a year ago. And I'd say, Bo Nix looks like the same quarterback when you're out there. It's not like you say like, oh my gosh, that guy looks like a new and improved version of the Bobot. He's the Bobot 2.0. He looks like the same quarterback, and that's a good thing. But everything just feels faster. The tempo of practice feels faster. They're in and out of the huddle much quicker. Mm-hmm. I don't think even Sean Payton can conjure up a nickname that we all know is incredibly inaccurate as it relates to Ferris Bueller. Because this guy, Bo Nix, he's no Ferris Bueller. He is no Ferris Bueller.
Is he Iceman yet? Does he get to be Iceman?
Now, let me ask you this. Does Iceman have a little bit of Like, I know Iceman does his job and does it really well, but would you say there's a little arrogance to Iceman?
A little bit. Yeah, sure. But
I don't know that Bo has that even.
He did dress up as Iceman for Halloween, and he has the hair and the whole thing. But I think the Ferris Bueller thing is about being immature and being a know-it-all. But you're not really ready for prime time. Iceman is like, it's I'm in charge here. And I get it, Maverick. You're a screwball, whatever. But I'm the man. At the end of the day, if you follow the Maverick Iceman lineage, it was Iceman that was in charge of the Air Force. It was Iceman that was in charge of it. Iceman did things the right way at a high level with a very significant amount of confidence. When you look at it, you'd rather hang out with Iceman than Maverick. You didn't know what to say with Maverick. You certainly wouldn't want to hang out with Ferris Bueller. You really wouldn't. He's just an arrogant dick. Not to be a jerk about it.
And you also wouldn't want Ferris Bueller to be your franchise quarterback either.
You would not. You couldn't trust him.
Couldn't trust him.
You couldn't trust him. You could trust Iceman.
You can't.
And you could listen. Bo Nix it's not just Evan Engram. Everybody has said great things about Bo Nix. It's been unbelievable in this preseason. I got a couple of examples. Here's Pat Surtain.
Bo, he's even more confident going into this year. Obviously, with year one under his belt, a lot more confidence rises on that. So
here's Sean Payton talking about the marriage between him and Bo.
Well, I mean, look, I think that can vary depending on. It's easier to say that when you're talking to a head coach that works primarily with the offensive side of the ball and is involved in the play calling. But I think oftentimes it's used in a way, and sometimes I said this, I think, in the offseason, like this was the perfect fit. Who's not interested in that player? It almost discredits the athlete, but it fits the narrative for those that had him ranked where they had. So we're never going to get away from our narratives, are we? We're going to hold on to we were right with that narrative. And so, that was the right fit. That's a great marriage, and that explains any success and all success. And so, but I think maybe it applies more to a head coach that's maybe more involved in one side of the ball or the other.
What an amazing thing to be able to step out there here in year two. And Mike, there's no debate about this at all. I mean, none. Zero. Meanwhile, are you catching what's going on with Caleb Williams in Chicago already? I mean, there's
back-to-back interceptions on day one.
It's just, I never want to make too much, but you get a vibe of, does this guy going with the flow or not? And everything today was Bo Nix was going with the flow. Like, it was looking great.
Yeah, Bo Nix is a serious quarterback. And I say he's serious on frankly a different level than about probably man, I wonder if we're going to have a serious power ranking of starting quarterbacks in the National Football League right now. Who's more serious than Bo Nix from a personality perspective?
That's such a great question, because who is more dedicated to what they're doing solely focused than Bo Nix? I mean, we're talking about a guy who bought a big house up in Castle Pines, who has a lovely wife who you work with at Valor, but they don't have kids. He doesn't have a side business. He's got nothing else going on, not right now in his life.
Outside of supporting the Avs and the Nuggets and the Rockies and throwing out the best pitch that's been thrown for the Rockies this entire season.
Yeah.
He's not in the TMZ life or even remotely close to it. Nope. He doesn't really have a massive social presence or celebrity presence outside of hanging out with the quarterback room with Jarrett Stidham and his wife. And, now Sam Ellinger and his wife and Zach Wilson and his new wife. And that's who Bo Nix is.
Well, he's got McGlinchey and his wife. They're along for the ride too. So, I think you've got a guy who thinks nothing but football, has been trained in football, has the trust of his coach, has the trust of ownership, has the trust of his coworkers, his teammates, and just loves ball, just loves it. It is a really unique situation because life inherently, Coach, will get more complicated as things happen in a good way, like having
Mo
children.
money, mo problems, right?
Sure, you're
It's a
going to have more
real
money.
thing.
You'll
that
have
second
kids.
contract for Bo, things will be a little bit different.
Sure, you inevitably will have some business things or some commercial things. Children will come along, which is wonderful at some point. But it is funny, like when I started in Buffalo, and he got complicated eventually. But my guy Jim Kelly, he just lived with his brother Dan and Tommy Good, which was his turtle. And it was like these three dudes living in this nice house, and it was just like football and, having fun. It was awesome. And, eventually there was, wives and kids, and that's all great too. But there was a time in Jim Kelly's life, dude, it was comical that it was just these dudes hanging out playing football, and that was pretty awesome. You got to cherish those times, man. And they had a great deal of success during that time. And I think the Broncos with Bo Nix will too. It's not that you can't have success when life gets a little bit more complicated. But as a young person just getting into this, I love how simple his life is. I think it's fantastic.
It's fantastic. And I go back to the question, which quarterback that we know of in the National Football League is truly more serious about their craft than Bo Nix? And he's a bit of a throwback to the era of serious quarterbacks at the time, vis-a-vis Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady.
Yeah, football comes first.
And I'm talking about early. Think about early, like first 7 years of Tom Brady.
Yeah,
before Giselle and all. It almost and it. Tom Brady was able to prioritize and he was able to create patterns in his life where football was always number one, even if there was a lot of celebrity outside of that. And not many people can compartmentalize like that. It's like Bo Nix doesn't even have any desire to have any distractions outside of being the best husband to Izzy and being the best man of faith that he can be and being the absolute best quarterback for the Denver Broncos franchise. That's kind of it.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Okay. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of the Castle Pines life. There's like 3 restaurants. There's a gas station. It's hard to get to. You know what I'm saying? Like
on a bike, it's hard to get to.
All right. It's even in a car,
it is pretty
brother.
Secluded even. Yeah,
man. Right. I mean, it's not like
I played one of those golf courses one time, and it was something else.
Good luck finding it. I mean, you gotta drive around a little bit.
It was out there now.
You might have had to get in a gate or two to get there, depending on which of the courses you were playing there. So, anyways, other stuff. Let me play this little piece by Sean Payton, talking about some other things in terms of guys moving around at camp today.
A handful of guys that are going to dual train, and then there's a handful that would be outside. Makes sense. And then every once in a while you have a corner that can go to safety. So, but there's a vision with each player relative to where we see him at. The flexibility certainly helps, especially on third down.
Okay, so talk to me about this. What's going on out there? We're not really settled in one thing, guys. This sounds like he's talking more about the defense than anything.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple new pieces defensively, correct? I mean, you're looking at. I looked at the first defensive unit out there today had essentially 3 new starters. Jahdae Barron is starting over Jaquan McMillan. It appears at the nickel position. Certainly, you got Talanoa Hufanga starting over PJ Locke, who, by the way, that's unbelievably good news for the Broncos that PJ Locke is overcoming the odds of coming back from a back fusion surgery in the offseason. And he's already out there? That's crazy to me.
That is crazy. I thought he was done.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, historically, that injury is a death sentence for an NFL player's career, I should say. And then Dre Greenlaw is also, and I got a little anecdote today talking to some coaches from the Denver Broncos coaching staff. There is a little bit of a stigma around Dre Greenlaw. Okay. That he was a bit of a higher maintenance, tougher guy to coach. Coming out of that was the stigma coming out of San Francisco.
All right.
And I was told today that couldn't be further from the truth.
Good.
That he is a great team. The defensive structure of the San Francisco 49ers, which has roots in Vic Fangio, has roots in Robert Saleh. It is a drastically different defensive structure than the defensive structure that Vance Joseph employs. And Vance Joseph, he's got his own crew of mentors in his coaching career, that have impacted him, and it's outside of the scene of Robert Saleh and the San Francisco 49ers defensive core that goes back to when Jim Harbaugh was the head coach and Vic Fangio was the D coordinator. So there's a bit of a learning curve for two of your 11 starters. And then also you have Jahdae Barron that's coming in and learning. He's a rookie starter right now. And I'll tell you what, man, when I saw Riley Moss out at corner outside, and I saw Pat Surtain II on the other side, Jahdae Barron inside, and I saw Talanoa Hufanga and Brandon Jones.
Here we go.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Here we go.
We're cooking.
And
then you see Dre Greenlaw and Alex Singleton, and a guy that nobody should sleep on this name.
Okay.
Lavelle Bailey.
Okay. I remember him.
If there's ever a situation where either Dre Greenlaw or Alex Singleton repeat any type of injuries that they've had in their recent history, if Lavelle Bailey ever gets a starting job as an inside linebacker, I don't know that he ever gives that job back.
What about Drew Sanders?
Interesting player. I'm not there yet on Drew Sanders.
Okay.
I'm not there. I think Lavelle Bailey is the guy inside backer wise that I see as a guy that could be a really high end upside playmaker type. Got his hands on a football today, intercepted a ball, and he's proven to be Lucas Kroll's kryptonite. And just absolutely destroys him in coverage. He's a sideline to sideline player. I've been really impressed with that performance. Pat Surtain II got burnt today.
Oh, that happens. Pat Surtain II. Pat Surtain II.
Let me just.
Go ahead.
It's to be clear, it's a good development for George Paton in the scouting department, because the guy that I thought obliterated him on one route that Bo Nix found him on, it was a deep over drag, and it was none other than 4.6, 4.67 40-yard dash from the combine. Patrick Bryant, Patty B, Nate Kreckman, somewhere smiling from up above and looking at a fellow Illinois Fighting Illini and saying, "That's my guy."
It's not the same body type, so the comparison might not be exact. However, I remember, this goes back a ways, Eddie Royal, when he came to the Broncos, he had a knack, some guys just do, of getting open. Meaning they can use whatever their body positioning or whatever they do. Jerry Rice wasn't the fastest guy. Why was he always open so much? And there's just something to holding back perhaps a little bit and then putting the Jets on when you need to, or positioning a guy or a shake or a move, or just knowing how to play the position, or perhaps studying your guy that you're going against. Oh, he's got this tendency here, so I can do. Now, if we're going to just line him up and race him, you're going to lose, right? But if you can create separation, you could keep separation, can't you?
You can. And that's what happened today on one route that I saw. And I'll be candid. I was skeptical about Pat Bryant. Sure. I was like, just another big, kind of lumbering, big body type prototype that Sean Payton wants that can't blow the top off. And it took me about 5 snaps to realize that the scouting department and/or the combination of George Payton and Sean Payton was absolutely right. Because football play, this is such a stupid thing to say into a microphone. But as a coach, I kind of get it, man. Is really good football players at the high school level end up being, a lot of times, really good football players at the college level. Really good football players at the college level end up usually being really good football players in the professional league. If they get the opportunity to do it in the NFL, they end up being really good players. And so when you get so caught up, and I did it, man. I got too caught up on Bo Nix and the eye test of his combine, the eye test of being side by side with J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. And I said, you know what? Yeah, Bo Nix doesn't look like those other two cats throwing the football. But you know what Bo Nix has done since he was a high school player, college player at Auburn, at Oregon? He's been a really good player. Yeah. A really good football player. Jerry Rice, you would never have gone to a combine out of Mississippi Valley State and say, that's the guy we got to go get. Jerry Rice is a 4'6", 4'7", 40 guy.
Right.
He was.
Right.
He wasn't overly big, but he had the ability to get in and out of breaks, create separation, and I saw that in one snap against the best corner in I'd say the past 5 years in the National Football League, and I think the Broncos have something in Patty Bryant.
All right, I want to focus on one thing before we split here, and a reminder that we are brought to you by Ramos Law. You can find him at ramoslaw.com. Injury lawyer, injured in an accident, contact ramoslaw.com. Medical doctor and attorney. We love him. ramoslaw.com. Thank you. Evan Engram, we heard from him today talking about the joker position.
Yeah, I definitely think, the fans and you guys are having a lot more fun with it. Whatever you guys want to perceive it as, like, you guys have that for sure. I just see that as being reliable, being clutch, making plays, and just doing my job at the highest level. Whatever that's asked to do, in the run game, in the pass game, in the locker room, in the weight room, just doing my job at the highest level. And I think, with doing that and the work, the results will come, and then, the fun, we can have more fun with it as we go. So.
All right. Well, just to be clear, Evan, we all think that we're having fun with it because your coach has told us to. Just to be clear, I mean, it didn't come from nowhere.
Yeah, don't get in trouble with Sean on that one. As I was in the scrum, I was sitting there like, yeah, Sean spends too much time listening to the news clips of everything that came out of day one in the pressers. He's gonna be like, hey man, you better take it easy telling the trivializing the joker position. I have a patent on that bad boy. You're bad for business, Evan.
Listen, it's not Evan's fault. He doesn't probably. He wasn't.
I'll be honest, I don't get it, man. As a football guy,
I know.
Like let me ask you this: what should a tight end be good at? Like if you're a really good tight end, a really thorough, well-rounded tight end, what should you be good at?
I've had this debate though with ex-NFL guys for like 20 years. I was doing radio shows. I'm serious, like 15 years ago with Shannon Sharp calling this tight end Charmin soft. I think it was like Julius Thomas.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, I'm rolling my eyes at it. Julius Thomas had 24 touchdowns in 2 years with Peyton Manning. It's like, what does a tight end really do? And if you ask a lot of the old school guys, they'll all tell you, if you can't block, you can't play tight end, this, that, the other thing. It's like, hey guys, we've kind of moved on from the Daniel Graham era, and it's just different these days. So what's a real tight end? I think it's an evolving position. But I think if you don't have one of those guys, Coach, you're in trouble because everybody else does.
But let's just talk about like the actual card. If you're playing Joker's Wild Poker, right, or Joker's Wild whatever card game you choose, what does that give you the ability when you have the Joker card to do?
Well, it gives you flexibility to do all sorts of different things.
Correct, right? So a really good and effective tight end at any level is a good blocker and a good pass catcher. Why is this groundbreaking and we have to call it a Joker?
Because what they've done with the
ridiculous.
tight end is when you line them 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, who's he blocking? And when I see Travis Kelce and like 80% of his snaps lined up as basically a slot receiver, I don't expect him to block anybody from out there. If you're on the line of scrimmage, I mean, okay, fine. You got some responsibilities going.
Just about all of them are on the line of scrimmage at some point in time. Every single one.
I guess, but only an idiot puts Albert Okwuegbunam out there, and he's gonna like a hot knife through butter, as we remember. Well, whose fault is that? Albert O's or the coaches that have been watching this guy not do something and all of a sudden expect him to do something? So, and I don't know. You tell me about Evan Engram. I mean, do I give a crap if Evan Engram blocks anybody this year? Not really, but
Evan Ingram's going to take great pride in being a solid run blocker and pass protector.
Well, then great, super.
And even if say Evan Ingram's 35% of his snaps that he's on the field are him run blocking, pass protecting, either at the point of attack where the run is going to, or on the backside of the run, or even potentially on the perimeter of a run, where you line up as a receiver and you block a Jahdae Barron body type that's more of a nickel, then I think that'll be a big win for the Denver Broncos because it gives you the ability to have more value in your play action pass.
Well, I don't remember Evan Engram blocking anybody through his NFL career, so you'd have to tell me if you can. But I've seen him make unbelievable catches, Coach, unbelievable catches. I've seen him do that, but it doesn't stand out.
He'll be a good enough blocker. Like just hearing him talk today, he'll be a good enough blocker. Because that's the only thing. That's if all.
By the way, you know who
if
sucked
all
at
the
blocking
Joker.
too? You know who sucked at blocking? Shannon Sharp sucked at blocking. He wasn't a great blocker for all the things that he calls out. But you gotta. I don't know, man. I'm not bothered by it. I want weapons. I want great offense. And if good enough is good enough. For me,
Agreed.
good enough is good enough.
Agreed. Good enough as a run blocker is good enough.
You have a final thought for today as we get through this?
Good day today.
Yeah.
Good day. And as a summary to wrap up, the speed and efficiency, getting in and out of the huddle, the reps and how quickly they were getting rattled off and walk through, and then team and 7-on-7. It looks like a more mature. It looks like a team that has a lot more just seriousness, and it's still got something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Still got a bit of a chip on its shoulder, but it's getting the work done so much more efficiently. Therefore, I think you are going to see more of Sean Payton's entire offense this year, because you're not wasting any time teaching any of the foundational basics of day 1, day 2, day 3 installation. So you're able to get further along to day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10 installation. Therefore, the playbook is open and it's more difficult to defend. And, it's a very professional, mature franchise, and if you're a Broncos fan, you should be excited.
All right. Well, we're excited to be back with training camp recap. The Broncos are on the field. We'll be with you at night. It'll be airing at 8:30 every night that there's a Broncos practice. So we'll be back on Saturday night, tomorrow night, and off Sunday because the Broncos are off. But then it's a banger, dude. It is 6 days in a row with pads starting on Monday. And you want to talk about real training camp?
Mm-hmm.
It dials in on Monday for reals. It's coming. All right. Thanks to Ramos Law. Thanks to Coach Sanford. We'll talk to you